We're down to our last 70 acres of planting. It's in 3 different pieces, so it's a little bit cut up, but it's all close to home, so it should go kind of quick. We're not in a big hurry. We shouldn't have a problem getting that done today, as long as we don't have any issues. I'm headed over to one of the pieces right now with the rock picker. I'm gonna go grab a couple rocks. Jim is out on that piece right now, running the field cultivator, getting that ready so that hopefully we can plant it this afternoon. Well, you can see the dust flying. It's amazing how quick we went from too wet to too dry. Farmers are never happy, I know. But there is a little bit of a chance of rain in the forecast, so hopefully we can get some of that, because right now we got a lot of soybeans we've planted in the last few days that are laying in dry dirt. And that's never a good thing. That seed is actually safer in the box in the shop than it is laying in dry dirt. But if we get a rain on it, if we could get a good slow 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch or an inch of rain, that would be really good to get that seed germinated, get it up and started, and get things moving for the year. You guys all right? Well, look at that little guy. The ones you can pick by hand, we don't even bother with out here. I can't imagine how difficult it must have been for my ancestors to have to fly their drones without any auto steer on their tractors. Well, of course, in a moment of extreme irony here, Jim just hooked a rock with the field cultivator and rolled the rock out, broke a couple of shanks on the cultivator, and ended up with a flat tire. That one looks flat on the bottom. This one's nice and shiny, Jim, so don't scratch it. There. Warm up. Yep. Okay, we got the tire fixed on the field cultivator, and I'm pulling the planter out now. We just dumped the seed out of it. I don't even want to try to explain exactly what we're doing, but we're doing kind of a musical seed thing, because we're trying to get the correct varieties in the right spots and end up with no leftover seed going into next year. So we're kind of switching some stuff around, but we'll have the planter going soon. I'm getting an indicator inside the cab that's telling me that row number 9 is having some problems. So the first thing I'm going to do is just check and see if there's seed in it. Sometimes those pipes that come from the tubes that come from the center fills out to these row units will plug up a little bit. So I'll make sure there's seed in it first before I do anything else. Yes, there's definitely seed in it. There should only be that much seed down in the bottom there. So obviously I have a problem down underneath where the seed comes in. It's either inside this plate or down in the seed tube. Well, the bottom of the seed tube feels like it's open, so I'm gonna go shut the vacuum and the CCS off. I'll come back out, pull that lid off, and get to the plate and see what's going on inside of that row unit. I see exactly what it is. This boot helps control the seed up at the top of the row unit. It worked its way off and stuck down in there and jammed down in there and caused these problems. Pretty easy to get back on. It just snaps right back on inside of the row unit. It's so dang hot.
I'm gonna see if I can sneak over to the other field without changing the wheels.
I'm gonna need 3 or 4 of them.
You will.
What we're doing here is testing the 2019 varieties a year ahead of time. So Channel gave us this seed to test out, and in exchange what we'll do is we'll give them the data so that they can see how it yielded on different types of ground and how it kind of does in our climate. Time to go put the other seed variety in. Okay, I got that out of the way. Now we're down to our last 10 acres, right at home, right at the end of the driveway. It didn't get tilled last fall because we put grain bags on it, so it's still corn stalks. We've been going around and around in circles trying to figure out what to do with it. It looks to me like he kind of decided to try to burn it. I can't imagine it would burn real well, but I see plenty of smoke, so something's happening. We don't like to burn the cornfields if we can help it, because we do lose some of the fertility from last year's corn stalks when we do that. But in a situation like this, it does make a nice black field if we can get it burned evenly. And the smoke is going the right direction, so that's good. We do not want this getting into this CRP grass, and we didn't really think it would take off, but maybe it's going to. So we're gonna hit it with the field cultivator here quick to stop that fire and break it up. That'll do it. It's like at the beginning of Days of Thunder when Tom Cruise comes riding his motorcycle through the fog. Well, I'm gonna let him dig that while I inspect our corn crop here. You can see it's coming up pretty nicely. We don't have a ton of moisture in the ground right now, but this corn got off to a pretty good start. This was some earlier planted stuff. It's our beans right now that are a bigger concern because they don't have the moisture to take in. This dirt is just so fluffy and so dry. Oddly enough, that stuff at the end of the driveway where we just got rid of the residue on top is actually really wet. We're not going to be able to plant that tonight because the soil underneath that those cornstalk leaves is so wet that it's sticking to the tires. So just another part of the reason we struggle to get away with no-till in this area of the country where we have a little bit colder climates and our soils are so heavy and they're high in magnesium. They're super high in calcium. They're just a heavy clay soil that doesn't like to dry out real well. I broke the rut. I was hoping to pull the whole thing out, but I got impatient. There you can see the kernel still on the bottom of the plant. Pretty cool this time of year. We literally have 10 acres left to go tomorrow. I hate to not plant it tonight, but it's just a little bit too sticky. It's not gonna work, so I'm gonna take one of the first nights off that I've had for a couple of weeks. I got up this morning, it looked like rain out, so I jumped on my phone, checked radar, and sure enough, we've got rain coming. but it looks like now it's actually breaking up. We might split the difference there. Either way, we only have 11 acres left here, and I wanted to make darn sure we got this 11 acres in and done and finished up before that rain hit. I hope we don't split the middle on this radar because we need rain. Rain would be awesome for the crops that are in right now. It would help the corn get a better, more consistent stand. It would help the beans that are laying in dry dirt to germinate. It would be a good thing all around. So hopefully we'll get some of that. And right now I've got 9.2 acres done out of the 11 here at home, which means I'm going to be done here in about 6 minutes, and 2018 planting is going to be finished. There it is. 2018 spring planting is done. Gotta go now, we have spraying to do. I haven't even folded the planter up yet. If you have not clicked subscribe already, shame on you. Go ahead and click it right now, and make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Millennial Farmer out.